Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest and LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin,
Hi.
Sanswinda,
Hello.
and Calabathian.
Inundated by cats.
Inundated by cats. So it's raining cats and more cats, or is it raining cats and dogs?
No, the dogs are still downstairs.
The dogs are
Thank goodness.
Yes. Let's see what we have on store for game news this week, where we have the release of update 32.0.2. And in here, on the Legendary Item Reward track, sealed trace-free boxes from the Legendary Items Reward track can now be opened from level 45 and up. The Legendary Items Reward track now has numbered pips to help indicate progress.
Thought that said pigs.
Yeah, but it still doesn't let you just skip ahead to where you need to be. You still have to try and scroll sideways, which I hate. I hate scrolling sideways.
Would numbered pigs help?
No, numbered pigs would probably make it even worse.
This little piggy gave you enhanced runes.
Oh, boy. Yes. As for quest and adventure areas, Old Rivendell travel routes have been removed from the Stable Master at Glowing's camp. The placement of foresting in Madogard has been adjusted to prevent a physics issue.
They say stuff like this, and then I wonder what in the world happened.
I don't know.
The placement of foresting in Madogard broke the laws of physics. It's like, what? Those dang wizards.
Yeah, I know. They have absolutely no appreciation for Newton. A graphical gap has been filled in on the walls of the halls of Vernazal.
Verna, whatever, as we decided.
The hidden horde of Nankara. A new quest into the hidden horde tier number has been added for each difficulty tier to allow players to track their progress in the hidden horde of Nankara and quickly return to the furthest encounter in the raid they've reached during the current reset cycle. Also fixed an issue where the gate to Hrimil's chamber would not reopen after being defeated in the Mind of the Frostheart.
Ah, yes, you won, but you'll never leave.
All right, the Hotel Hrimil.
Yeah.
Fix an issue where a smite volume in the Mind of the Frost wouldn't properly deactivate after a party wipe. Fix an issue where one of the spear walls was being activated after the Hrimil encounter was started and was not disengaging after the reset. Fix an issue where T1 expelled frost hotspots were dealing 50% morale frost damage per tick instead of 5% morale frost damage per tick.
Yeah, that could be problematic. I think I know why people were wiping. Too bad Krister's not here. I bet he's finding out about this change now. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. It all depends on whether or not he got that far into it. We had enough trouble with the cricket playing giants last week. Corrected an issue where ads were not despawning after the defeat of Thrall Lord Dushtalbuk. Corrected an issue where hobgoblin totems would mysteriously go invisible during combat.
Stealth totems.
Correct an issue where monsters could fall off Hrimil's Anvil platform in Mind of the Frostheart and potentially block the encounter. Slightly increase the range of some of Hrimil's melee skills. Slightly reduce
I could just see that someone up on top kicking these monsters off. Just the bodies piling up. You can't get me. It's just a wall of corpses. That's not how. No.
Yes. Slightly reduced is the intensity of some Thrall Lord doucheball books, ad waves, especially on Tier 1 and Tier 2. Reduce the number of monsters in the Mind of the Frostheart. And Freemill no longer instantly defeats Durin if he becomes the highest threat. Instead, the encounter will now only reset when Durin is defeated in the course of combat. Note, though, this may take slightly longer than desired on T1, but it will avoid sudden, unavoidable defeats and resets. I wish they could do that with the giants who like to play cricket with us. And that's it for our release notes. Also, for other news, is that the Shadowfax server returns home by now opening up Rohan and Wildermore.
That actually brings up a serious question. Because they mentioned that how they phrased it was that Shadowfax returns home, to Rohan. And, then it kind of struck me. At the end, when everybody, it's, spoiler alert, Gandalf actually goes with everybody else on, some of the last ships to Valinor. What happens after that to Shadowfax? Does he go back to Rohan? I mean, because that's like,
I would think so.
Kind of interesting to think about, some of the characters, like what happened after the minor characters, and it's like, the Eagles and Shadowfax and that kind of stuff. It's like, well, what happened to them afterward? What, did they go live a happy life? What, happily ever after? HEA?
HEA. Oh, we also had a Bulwer build, Bulwer 32.0.3, and a little preview number 1 there. And over there, all they were doing, they were testing, continuing testing Tier 3 of the Hidden Horde of Nankara. And they also corrected an issue where the Swift Travel Ghosts were not spawning after advancing the quest at Tier 2 Plus. So I guess the goats are their way of being able to quickly get to spots. And on Hidden Horde Tier 3 chests, we'll now have a separate loot pools for gear versus an essence picker box. You will always get a piece of gear, and sometimes you will also get an essence picker box. All right, so they are settling down the rewards for Tier 3 as there's.
Would Javatar in the Isengard Tavern just be a really big cup of coffee? It's the avatar of coffee, Javatar. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let's go to the store sales, because there is no beacon this week. So, Terry, what's on sale?
Well, the coupon code is a Battle Potion Restoration ×5 with coupon code Battle Onward 2, now through March 10th. And also through the 10th, we have 20% off select XP boosts, enhanced XP supply, and 100% mark acquisition boosts, and Virtue Acceleration Tomes, now through the 10th.
Whee!
Also, it's 25% XP boost weekend.
All right. Then let's head into our weekend gaming. Calabathian, what were you up to?
Got a goat.
A goat?
A goat. Cassowary received it as a gift for maxing out the Allegiance questline in Vernazal for the dwarves. So anyone who maxes that out, you can look forward to that. It's got tassels! Golden tassels. It's a fancy goat, which is great because Cassowary is a high elf. He's kind of frou-frou. He can finally fit in with everyone else when they're riding through everywhere on their goats, because now he actually has a goat he can ride. But he also received a nifty new pet from a friend who's, and not the friend, but the pet, pet name has yet to be determined. I'm still trying to figure out what to call them. because I actually realized when I wrote this. He also received a nifty new pet from a friend whose name has yet to be determined, and that made it sound like my friend has a name that is yet to be determined, and that's no. So I went into Gundabad, sorry. I'm texting y'all. To catch up on what the Tuesday group had finished, since my health was not the best that evening, so I missed it. So I was running with Terry to kind of catch up on some of that. Stone Trolls. Actually, they're Stone Troll Smashers, which for some reason makes me want to say mashed Stone Trolls. We are champions, but I'm just saying it's like mashed potatoes that are trolls. They're smashed. I don't know. Anyway, I nearly went on my first raid last night because, there was a spot open and everything. I chickened out completely, though. No wonder my cat likes me, because I'm chicken. I did brawl through the Lone Lands with the Academy on Friday yesterday. Hobbit Champions, aka, brawlers. Punching everything. Everything just kind of got mowed down, and that was great. It really was. It's really fun to play just a pack of tiny brawlers, Hobbit brawlers, and then you have the one person who has a dwarf minstrel running around healing us. And like I've said before, that's how it should be, because, it's like, how's your drinking? You had better be able to hold your drink, because we're a bunch of brawlers. Every single one of us has a mug that we're going to throw at somebody and you start a fight. A dwarf mini fits right in with us, I'm just saying. But yeah, so Sans, how about you? How was your week in gaming?
My week was pretty good. Sans Wyndham made it to level 140 running Gundabad missions last weekend. And did some more fishing and questing. And Amalur did some more slaying with Maven and Natesh as they adventured to collect items for the dailies. That was pretty fun. And I found some things to repair for the weekly endeavor in ESO with Guer. We did the repair damage in Cyrodiil, and the ones in Cyrodiil kind of look intimidating, but the do damage or repair things are my favorite. But it took longer than usual to find a place that actually needed repairs this time. It was worth it, though. We got lots of cool stuff. And it's kind of soothing, just relaxing to sit there and repair a wall. And I got to actually see the Imperfect. It wasn't surrounded by 300 people. And fight it. And that was pretty cool.
The Imperfect?
Yeah, in Clockwork City.
300 people who jump on it and then it instantly dies?
Right. I've only ever seen it during the event when there's like 300 people standing around waiting for it to spawn and then instantly killing it. But Krister was collecting some armor sets and needed help killing it, so I got to actually see it and help kill it, and it was pretty cool. How was your week, Terry?
Well, progressed a little further on the Gundabad storyline, plucking away at it. And then I went back and did it again with Calabathian, so Castle where I could catch up. We're almost caught up. We gotta still do the ride out to the Witchgate. But that won't take us very long. And in the process we do a couple of the reclaiming dailies and missions, and more missions. I also got to take a peek at the raid, dipped a toe in, except more like my whole body got dipped in and smacked around a whole lot, because that is a brutal instance. We only made it to the first boss twice and died, and I'm not a fan of the smacking around mechanic, to be perfectly honest with you, because, you can sort of correct if you get smacked backwards, but if you get smacked sideways or, God forbid, forwards, the instinct isn't to correct that motion, and sideways you really can't do anything about. So I spent a lot of time dead in a pit in the raid. Missions wise, I'm still usually taking Cass with me because I really do need a battle maid. sometimes I take Pine with me, especially if it's an instance that I know is going to be really annoying, like the one where you're supposed to pull Grims to these spots so that they can make ice. Except for me, the Grims don't actually want to move to those spots. By the way, note to SSG, if you're going to make an instance where something has to be pulled to a location, please make the something not a ranged mob. Because it's really frustrating for it to have a ranged attack and then it just sits there and hits you, and you can't hit it back because if you hit it back, you're going to kill it. This is why it's useful to take Pine Leaf with me, because Pine Leaf can smack it around a few times without it dying. I mean, I just tap it with my sword and it falls over dead. Yeah. And I actually think that's on today's roster. We haven't done today's missions, but I think that one's on today's roster, based on what yesterday's missions were. And then in ESO, I focused on story and got the heck out of Malabal Tor, so I'm now in Reaper's March. I'm in the final leg of Cadwell Silver. Krister has, of course, surpassed me in champion points, because I knew that was going to happen, because he's just apparently has no time on his hands whatsoever. Or all the time on his hands, one or the other. Anyway, he's in game like all the time, and I don't even know what he's doing to get all this XP, because I'm running around in game pretty much all the time when I'm in there, and not gaining as much XP, but I'm sort of thinking I might work on leveling some of my lower characters so that I can do other stuff. And if I level them up to 50, they will also earn champion points. So then everybody's earning champion points. Yeah, so that was my week, Pine Leaf. How about you?
Right. My low-level warden continued questing in the angles. I've managed to finish up the deed that says you've reached the target number of quests, but looks like there's one more block of quests I have to do before I have the dailies left on there. So that seems to be working fine on that. And I participated in that cricket match with the Giants in there, and unfortunately, they decided that hobbits are cricket balls, apparently, because they just keep batting me all over the place off the pitch.
The Gundabad Giants versus Giants 2, everybody else 0.
Well, no, because every time they kick me over, they're getting 6 points. And, that's the problem. Is like I keep on hearing Giants yelling 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So yes, we're getting quite knocked out around on there, and usually spending most of the fight down in a pit in there waiting for the match to be over so that we could respawn and try to regroup on there.
Yeah,
As
in
Terry
fact,
said,
both times
annoying.
Pine Leaf and I died at the same time.
Yeah. And at the end on the second round of it, I think it was the range people and
all the
DPS
DPS was in the pit. All the DPS was in the pit.
Yeah.
The only thing that was left on the platform was the support and the tank.
Yeah, I don't know how the tank survived.
I have no clue.
The tank would be the first one batted over. That's the way weird things were. And also in ESO, I managed to finish up the quest in Deshaun, so that means I've got, I think, 3. Is it 2 or 3? I can't keep up. I have a couple more areas before I finish up gold, so I'm plugging away at Cadwell's gold.
Kind of like how the question. So, how did you spend your evening? Can actually be answered by you two with, "Oh, dead in a hole."
Yep. That pretty much sums it up. Our top supporter this month is LOTRObuild.com. LOTRObuild.com is a collection of full LOTRO databases that includes an items database, a relics database, and a titles database. You could use it right from your Discord server with LOTRObuild bot. We currently have 15 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the nation's page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We do not have any emails this week, but we feel like since when you can send it to podcast@lotraplayers.com. We also have us at Twitter The Players Alliance at Players Ally, Loach Players at Loach Players, Arendis at Arendis, Ponlif at Ponlif Needles, Senswind at Senswind, Terry-Edwin at Terry-Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, Calbathian at Calbathian, and Krister is busy fighting a dragon. The Players Alliance has 2 shows.
I bet he hasn't even made it to that dragon. Sorry.
Well, I think they said they had already unlocked that they had a lock so that they go directly to the dragon. Well,
Oh yeah, they managed to die at the end of Hidden Horde, so they did make it to the dragon.
yeah. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Loach Players News, and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. You can choose for our shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, then. This is Pipe Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.